Mr. Mike Draco in the house first tonight, representing Cincinnati. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. It's almost 9 o'clock. It's exactly 9 o'clock. We're going live with another episode of Shop Talk. Going to be a great show tonight. We're talking BRL. Everybody's piling in. Russ Journey, Kearney, Nebraska. James Fletcher Jr. Hi, y'all. I'm here. Robin Higginbottom. Bill Stevens checking in from the D-Town. David Crum, New Jersey. Hey, man, you're watching those chats show up on the screen. Remember, wherever you're watching from, any of the 15 channels that Shop Talk's broadcasting through right now, just put your comments in there and we'll get to you. Tell us where you're watching from so we can give you a shout-out. Just a couple minutes now. Well, look at that. The clock is running out faster than I can keep up with. Minute 43, we're going live with this one. It's going to be a quick turnaround tonight. Ray's Moto Life in the house. Ashley Woodford from Cave Creek. Man, I want to be back in Cave Creek right now. It's like 40 degrees outside here. Who forgot to pay the summertime bill in Pennsylvania? I'm freezing my ass off. We went from Daytona, little stop in Minnesota, which was kind of cold, but then down to Arizona. This is not that kind of weather. Anyway, Shop Talk rolling on. America's favorite two-wheel motorcycle entertainment and information program, going live every Sunday 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Don't miss an episode. Hit the like and share button. Make sure you set your alerts. Anne Marie is here. Hi, Annie. Ashley Woodford, it was 85-ish. You shut your mouth. Bill Stevens, 39 degrees there. Ray's Moto Life, 35 in East Tennessee this morning. Ugh. David Crumb's, it's still spring, Chris Kell. I know, but it's cold spring. Keith Thompson in the house just finished a bitchin' ass trike. I want to see pictures of that, man. You guys were going to a weekend an event this weekend. Speaking of events this weekend, we had a pretty cool time out at the Moto at the Mall. You guys can catch a little clip of that next week. I didn't have time to get it all done, but Shop Talk rolling on. Remember, at the end of the show, we're going to save the last 5 or 10 minutes every week and do a little back and forth with you guys. So if you got a lot to talk about or if you have something that's pissing you off, hold it to the end of the show. For now, we're going to get this one out of the station and up onto the tracks. Let's go live with this week's edition of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's just after 9 p.m. Time for Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. Getting ready for another 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. Glad you're here with us, but you can see in the background, somebody's not here. Look, I'm going to give him a twister. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that anymore. Is it? It's still a twister? Well, he's not here, but my other co-host is Miss Heather Callen in the house with us.
Howdy, howdy.
Oh, that's new. Howdy, howdy.
I thought I'd switch it up a little bit.
Look, now we got double Mark.
Mark?
That's painful. That's painful. So Mark's off tonight, but hey, that's not going to stop us. We got a great show. Lots of stuff to talk about. Moto at the Mall this weekend was killer. It's nice, you get caught up for a while and doing like the big ones, the Daytonas and Sturgis and running from spot to spot, and like there's nothing like going back home to a hometown bike show, and spending time with people who come from where you come from. I met a cat out there this weekend, and we're going to be featuring his bike. But he had the coolest. It was like a 79 Super Glide that he did root beer color and just, everything tasty that we used to do to old Super Glides. You know what I mean?
Did you use the word tasty because
It was
root
tasty.
Beer?
No,
it was root beer?
not because it was root beer, just because it was done really well. Like, he didn't try to, bro it up like a lot of the kids are doing or anything. It was just very nice and well done, and everything was clean. And he really
very classic.
Yeah. So
I like it.
a lot of fun there. Hung out with Rob Buydos, but like Rob and I both have this cross addiction thing between V-twins and dirt and all this stuff. He had some like original Penton motorcycles there. There were, old ass Huskies and like some really cool stuff. Oh, you must have been in
heaven.
I was.
I spent the entire day in the car.
Steve Broyles like tasty bread. That bread he's talking about is not tasty. It's crack cocaine in a loaf. Look how good Mark looks back there. He needs a little color. Got
the flannel. He's looking a little
He needs
pale.
a little color. He's a little color.
But he's rocking the 3-2 Choppers hat, a good flannel.
All right, so like I was telling you guys, the end of the show every week, we're starting a new thing, and we learned this from Professional Monkey, who, if you are not subscribed to Professional Monkey over on YouTube, you need to go check that out. But him and his girl did a thing the other night. We were watching them, and it was just them talking to everybody that was watching. So
yeah, it was pretty cool.
We try to get to all your comments throughout the show. Yeah, Heather did shots.
Maybe we should start doing that.
No, we shouldn't do shots. But these comments over here, we try to get to them throughout the show. But by the end of the show, the last 5 or 10 minutes, we're just going to save that time to talk to you guys to see what's going on and see what's on your mind. Until then, let's get started with this one. We have a killer show coming up with Rob Buydos from the BRL, bringing a special guest in with us. You guys are going to dig meeting this cat. And the start of every program, what do we do? What do we call that?
The news.
The Shop Talk World Report is brought to you by Law Tigers. Get the compensation you deserve and get back on the road with Law Tigers.
All right, so first up in the news tonight, and this in from motorcycle.com. Yeah, right there, motorcycle.com. We reported on the X350 or whatever the hell it was, the first collaboration of QJ Motors and Harley Davidson. Here comes another one.
Wah, wah, wah.
2003 Harley Davidson X500 first look. Second model from Harley Davidson and QJ Motors collaboration. But, okay, so here's the thing.
You're not going to be able to get it in the United States.
Not in the United States.
Owned by an Italian company, built in China.
Built in China. And this one, they're actually talking about European distribution. Down here in the deal, it says engine liquid cooled, fuel injected, 500cc DOHC, 8 valve parallel twin, claiming 33.9 foot-pounds at 6,000 RPM, 46.9 horsepower, which would make the X500 A2 license compliant, like the Encino, should Harley Davidson decide to bring it to Europe. So here, that's
new. So did they talk about what the MSRP might be?
No. I'm just disappointed.
Oh God,
I'm
hate
disappointed.
Those stupid mirrors.
I'm disappointed because a company that was looking to reestablish itself back in the days of the Reagan administration went to the Reagan administration, entered a plea basically for injunctive relief, even though by the time the Reagan administration had put the tariffs in place to give that company an opportunity to have a leg up over its competitors, they didn't need it. They did. And ever since then, that's the American motorcycle, man. Now here we have the American motorcycle that's, built an absolute dynasty through in and out of this culture, and they're building motorcycles in China. It sucks.
Oh, so remind me to say this after the show. I can't say it on the show. Just remind me. I have something to say about that.
You do understand the premise here. Like, we do a show, we say things for people to.
So off. I can't say it on the show. I'm sorry.
Wow, Heather.
I can't.
I'm so disappointed. All right, next up in the news, and this comes in from Newswire.
This is a bummer.
Rest in peace, Paul Schlegel. So, prolific promoter and co-founder of Loretta Lynn's passes away. Man, they've had a super string of bad luck. American Motocross has lost one of its most influential figures with the passing of iconic promoter Paul Schlegel. The Ohio native was a pioneer in bringing prominence and prestige to the sport during its infancy in the United States. where his innovative and creative ideas help give rise to competitions like the Pro Motocross Championship and the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship, which now set the global standard for competitive motocross. Additionally, Schlegel's ingenuity and passion led to the creation of the sport's single largest event, the Monster Energy AMA Amateur National Motocross Championships at Loretta Lynn's. So
That's a bummer.
our hearts and prayers go out to his family, and for sure.
Are we grateful for everything he did, though? Right?
Oh my God! Right.
That's amazing.
We talk about that all the time, especially now with the whole thing that goes on with the TMMR, and all the new V twin riders that have poured into that place that have no idea of the history, you know, and how
It'd
important.
be nice if they could do some sort of exhibition during TMMR.
They sort of do. I mean, it's not a live thing, but the Wall of Fame, like if you pay attention at all,
that is
like every
cool.
great rider that's
like
ever
if
been
there's
there.
a way they could combine like an amateur race with the event, that'd be awesome.
Well, you just go tell them, Heather.
I will. Buck, I said.
This in from the AMA. Marshall Mania. 3 brothers, with the help of their grandfather and father, dashed through the sand to 4 class titles. They say good things come in threes, and for the Marshall family, the notion certainly rings true. The Marshall boys, Joel, Micah, and Caleb, have followed in both their father and grandfather's footsteps, or better yet, tire tracks, and taken to riding and racing motorcycles. In 22, the brothers proudly represented their family name by collecting 4 class titles in AMA District 37 Desert Racing. I'm so excited to get to the part of this.
How much did that remind you of Nikki Hayden's
That's
family?
dude, right? I mean,
like
one
so
day
good.
forever ago, I got to do an interview with Earl Hayden, and it was trackside of like an AMA superbike race, and got to talk to him about what it was like raising 3 boys that were racing. He was like, dude, if they were pissing in the snow or going to the mailbox, they were racing. He said no matter what those kids were doing, they raced their whole life. So you can imagine these kids are going to be a handful.
I love seeing families do that. I love seeing families get kids on bikes at young age and having them compete. Like, they're not always going to win, especially out there against so many others. I think it's outstanding.
So you guys know when we have a weird story, we usually run this pre-roll for the batshit crazy news. This is a why be a dick news, and we don't have a pre-roll for this.
This would get the DOD award.
Yeah, this
absolutely.
This
DOD.
gets the DOD. So coming in from the Des Moines Register, Anamosa Motorcycle Museum gets sued by Evel Knievel's son's company over display and sales.
Seriously, talk about kicking somebody while they're down.
Well, now here's
Like,
the deal with this.
whatever.
Like, undoubtedly, the Evel Knievel brand has the absolute right to be trademarked and protected and everything else, but it just seems like right after, you know, the passing of John Parham, the fact that they're getting ready to have an auction to sell off the components that man collected for his whole life, like this lawsuit comes up, you know. So
Well, and here's the deal. It's nothing new. They have had an Evel Knievel display and paid homage to that man for a long time.
Listen,
and
that's what the story goes on to say. So K&K Promotions in Las Vegas, Nevada, a company that owns the rights to the likeness, brand, and intellectual property of the late motorcycle daredevil and stunt driver Evel Knievel, is suing Anamosa-based National Motorcycle Museum in U.S. District Court for alleged trademark infringement and unjust enrichment. Now, it goes on to say that, like, all this time they've been charging to get in there and have had this Evel Knievel display with, you know, look-alike motorcycles that they had and everything.
It's a not-for-profit museum, for Christ's sake.
I'm just telling you where this is coming from. K&K alleges it sent the museum a demand to halt the display or sale of any Knievel-related memorabilia, and that the museum failed to comply. K&K also claims it suffered losses of at least $75,000. So what I think this really comes down to is somebody went, hey, they're going out of business.
Right.
This is an opportunity to just, you know, hurry up and grab some.
Well, now, and the problem is they've completely sullied the K&K, whatever that business may be, because anybody we know is going to tell them to go pound sand. They're not getting a penny from it. From any of us, like,
well, see, Heather, this is how
they're down. That's so stupid.
This is how you and I get a bad name. Like, after 26 years of doing this business, we might be in a better place if we didn't start our shows off by kicking Harley Davidson in nuts and ending it off by kicking the Knievel Corporation in nuts. But hey, man, that's how we roll.
Either
right
way,
is right.
it's total
and,
BS, and they get the DOD award. Like, I'm going to make a DOD award and send it to K&K. I really am. It's bull.
So listen, if this is your first time watching Shop Talk, it's usually 3 of us here. We're in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, which we're eternally grateful for, along with all of our sponsors up here who help us get this show out all the time. We do a weekly show
good Lord.
that complements
Thank God it's not a weekly
our
magazine.
monthly magazine, which is now celebrating what? 300 issues. It's ridiculous. In 300,
it's ridiculous that you took the time to Photoshop that.
So 300 issues. This was this was issue number 1, volume 1, issue 1, and man, it's been a crazy ride. We just sent the 300 issue off to the presses, but I wanted to tell you guys like where this thing came from. So you guys know I'm into 70s choppers. This was inside my little shop where the magazine actually started.
Fat Cats, right?
Yeah, Fat Cats was the name of the shop. And in the window sat this 57 Sportster, yellow, beautiful chopper that I love to death. A string of other shovels, and across the wall were just like parts for working guys. So
I got to tell you, I wasn't sure we were going to actually get the 300th issue to press because
which is perfect.
Well,
because
he had such a good time reminiscing as he's going through pictures and trying to fill the pages. And like he's like, "Oh, did I tell you about this? Oh, did I tell you about this?" I'm like,
But that's perfect considering the fact that the first issue, we had no idea if we were going to get to the presses either. But you know, when I was looking at that stuff, and this is the benefit of looking back. You know what I mean? Like taking time, and you know, when we hit 200 shows with Shop Talk, and when you know the different anniversaries that we celebrate with this thing, you get to take a look at the things that have come and gone. And one of those, sadly, I have to bring up tonight, was one of our original runarounds. Like this cat rode around with us everywhere in the beginning. I first met him at that little motorcycle shop when he came in and asked me if I could hook him up with a used tire. I should have known right then, but his name was Bob Couturier. We all called him Worm. We tried to change his nickname several times. Even Roach didn't fit as good as Worm. And
Worm actually
sadly,
really did fit.
Yeah, just a week or so ago, he was taken from us. But you know, Worm and I came from a real natural place. Like I said, in the time, this was my front yard of my house.
That was your paint booth.
And we're painting Worm's shovel head right there in the front yard. And behind it, you can just see the outline of the 72 VW Bug that we used to deliver the magazines with. And that was...
I can't believe you ever made it.
That was the benefit, though, of, you know, looking back. And thanks, Big D. And yeah, it is a very sad thing, but, you know, glad to have known that cat, glad to be able to share stories because, you know, we have this awesome platform and you guys are all on the ride with us.
Yeah, it's been a ride. I've been here. Of the 300 we figured out, I've been officially part of the magazine for 98 of those 300.
How many times have I done this to you?
5,332. Jeepers
Hey,
creepers.
and with that, we're gonna get to work here because we got a lot of stuff to take a look at. We're gonna look at a feature bike real quick. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're gonna go straight to our guests, which are two gentlemen from BRL.
Radar, I don't think Sheets carries any magazines anymore,
No.
so you could boycott them.
Sheets
but
still does, and don't boycott Sheets.
No.
Sheets was the very first store. The Sheets brothers were the very first store to carry Cycle Source magazine when we went to an actual charge. But let's go check out this.
Wait a minute, you got to show them my shirt. I have a new shirt this week.
Who's running this shit?
Me.
Huh? Well, you got to start learning to work these controls a little bit or something. Go ahead.
Before we get into the good stuff, I have to show you guys this week's
Yeah,
Cycle
this
Source
is this is Heather's latest copyright
wait.
violation. Speaking of people suing companies.
Oh, okay, that's it. Okay,
All right.
because now it's going to get all serious and we're going to talk to actually cool people.
Okay, Heather, introduce a feature bike since you're running shit.
Feature bike. Oh, who was it? I know who's feature
You
bike
don't have
is.
to
I don't
just say
remember.
it's and now
It's time for the feature bike.
there you go.
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
Duke Butler, Castle Rock, Colorado.
Joe Dory, Castle Rock, Colorado.
So it's a 52 panhead. Found the motor in the drivetrain and the frame in Florida. Took it down, stripped it completely down, and had a lot of help from a lot of friends. And so a real chopper community project up in Colorado with a lot of good local folks. And so spent about a year doing it. Broke everything down, like we said, stripped it to the frame, ground up restoration, and then, you know, we did something a little more bubblegum, I guess you'd say. So, dreamsicle. Joe?
Yes, sir, dreamsicle. It was just a labor of love. Got to do it with my best friend. Sitting in his garage, building a bike, just having fun.
Yep. We used Mullins on the triple trees. And so Joe, though, hand shaved those lowers. No lathe, no nothing else, hand tools only. And so it came out so good we chromed them. And so the front end was actually done with, you know, again, help from some of the real good parts builders, and then a lot of effort from us. So Cooper Smith rear fender, and so sissy bar we bent and did ourselves. After hours tail light. We've got a 57 Chevy shift knob we got out of a guy's pickup truck. It cost us a little bit more beer money than we expected. You've got everything else is all hand done in terms of all the lines. We did all that stuff. We also always got to say something about the paint. And so our buddy Killer B out of Colorado did the paint job. And so everybody thought I was crazy when I said I wanted to do Dreamsicle. And he said he could do it, and he made it happen. This seat also, we got a little soul mama, so Natalie, she is in Denver too, and so she's the one, this was the first seat she worked on. The inspiration was like the Schwinn orange crate bike I wanted as a kid.
The little streamers.
So, yeah, we were always hacking bikes together, and so this is sort of, you know, that we're growing up, you know, we decided we'd try and put one together. So this is it. This is the outcome. Duke Butler, Castle Rock, Colorado.
Joe Dory, Castle Rock, Colorado.
And you're watching Shop Talk.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Hey, I'm Ron Fleener.
All right.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, we dropped his
Please Color Factory, you're watching Shop Talk.
Renamed him.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, and I'm here. I'm at the Dennis Kirk warehouse. Over 160,000 items in this room. You guys hear me say it all the time. Last minute in the garage, waiting to get that part you need. This is where it comes from. Check them out today, DennisKirk.com. All right, and welcome back to the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Hey, you know, it's not just the start of riding season, it's the start of racing season. It's going on all over the country, and we have the privilege of having the kickoff for the Bagger Racing League right here. Hey, didn't we just talk about this? I talk, you talk. I talk, you talk. Do you see your picture on the screen? When your picture's on the screen, that's when you talk.
Whatever.
Wait till Mark.
He likes to think he's in charge.
Wait till Mark finds out. So Bagger Racing League.
Hey, I have to do extra ball busting because he's not here.
Right.
I have to make up for it. Come on.
Bagger Racing League is kicking off right here in Pittsburgh. Man, this is going to be a blast because I am a big fan of the track that they're racing on. I got to see some incredible races there, from the Triumph Thruxton series to, you know, a bunch of the CCS stuff, and it's going to be a really good time. So we have the king of all things Bagger Racing on with us, Mr. Rob Buydos. I said we just spent some time with him at a local show this weekend. Let's get him on here because he's bringing a racer with him, and we're going to talk about what's happening with BRL.
Just Hanging Out in the Shop is brought to you by Spectral Oils. Made in the USA since 1966, the best oil on planet Earth.
Mr. Buydos, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. How's it going out there? It's great to see you. We got to hang out this weekend at the Moto at the Mall. And then in just a few days, we'll kick it off at Newcastle Harley and then grab another gear and go to Pittsburgh Raceway and get this season kicked off.
Dude, can you believe we're actually going to hang out at Bill Baumberger's together? When was the last time that me and you I think Worm was with us the night we all hung out at Baumberger's.
Very possible. I mean, very possible. We were hanging out back there in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then life came and we both got super busy. Oh. You and I were counting this weekend. The motorcycle season is just kicking off, and you've been to over 8 shows already.
I know. It's ridiculous. You know what though? I'm blessed, and I mean, I know how you are about it too. You all over the country doing everything with drag and motocross and everything. So you're no slouch for the program.
No, traveling's kind of something that comes with it, and then obviously being able to put this together. Back in the area that you and I both live, this is what's so super special about this.
Now, I wasn't just blowing smoke about, and I still want to call this Beaver Run Raceway, but I saw on the website they've actually changed it to the Pittsburgh International Raceway now, right? They got big and fancy.
Yep, they got a new owner. They brought in a lot of new asphalt, and they got a new name, but it is the same easy to get to location in a place that is right in the center of a true hotbed of the V-twin world.
Is this the
How
same?
you live here?
Yep.
Is this the same track that you tell me that story about all the time with
Where,
like Jay Springsteen?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, I finally get to see it. That's so cool.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wait to see how close to your house it is.
Yeah, I know.
You mean I get to do a local event? Oh, I'm so
a true
excited.
local event.
Yeah. One time I was up there, Rob, and watching a Triumph Thruxton race, and I was doing a track day, and on the big track, because they have the ability to separate the tracks into small track, big track, or however they call it, international track. And I heard these guys in the Thruxton series that were just, 3/4 of the track ahead of anyone else, but they were 6 inches apart and bumping bars. And I went and walked down pit row, and there was the Bartels Harley truck, and I was like, who in the hell ended up with this truck, And I walked all the way back, and there's the 2 guys that were out on that heat, and it was Gary Nixon and Jay Springsteen racing like no one knew they were there. It was just I spent the whole day with them talking to. It was great.
There's some of the great personalities. I mean, you got the chance to see him at the Flat Track Fight Club that we did. We brought Springer and Parker and everybody back. But this racing community in this area, this track, it has a lot of history, and we're going to make history being the first time ever the Harleys and the Indians were able to come onto this track. And this is actually where I came up with the whole concept, because Bill Baumberger from Newcastle Harley and all of his Hog Club and the Youngstown Harley people and the people from Warren Harley and the people from McMahon's Harley Davidson were all riding to these races. They love road racing, and I'm like, we have to do something to do it. And boom, here we are finally coming to Pittsburgh. And finally, me, you, and Heather will be at a road race together.
Yeah.
And this will be my first BRL event, so I'm super excited.
Wait till you see your media credentials, and when you show up, how you're welcome. The red carpet will be laid out for you,
And it's
so
perfect.
Nice.
It's perfect that the Baumberger is behind this too, because for a lot of people that you have that one local dealer that really, really supports racing, and like when it came to road racing, Bill was one of the first people, if not the first person I know, to like really wave the Buell flag, and he was so hardcore behind Buell and behind road racing. He used to. Who was his racer, Rob? I think he had Sean Higbee racing for him for a long time.
Yeah, Higbee. He had Trip Noble's race for him. He had Brian Bodine race for him. Rest in peace, Brian Bodine. Great guy. I mean, the list of people goes on and on and on and on that he had. People wanted to ride his bike. Hell, he ended up campaigning a VR 1000 super bike.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's as legit as it comes. Not only passion's one thing. He put it on the line. He went out and actually raced.
Yep.
And speaking of racers, I guess we hadn't segued into the racer part yet, right?
Well, let's
do that. Let's do that.
Take it away, Rob.
The reason I wanted to do this is we were talking about shops and people, and obviously Bill Baumberger at Newcastle is having a kickoff party. And when we have this kickoff party, we wanted to bring in some of our athletes. Well, the BRL has been pretty fortunate that, with the world of the internet, we've been able to attract a global market. And one of our newest riders, it'll be his first race ever, but he's joining us from Australia. We met at the Pit Bike Nations. He's a longtime stunt rider, a motocross racer, bagger, wheelie. I think you have some things that'll kind of showcase what he's been able to do, but he wanted to go road racing. And Joe Hupp from Suburban Harley Davidson said, I'm signing this kid up. Let's get an international rider on the field. And lo and behold, here we are. It'll be our debut and our introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Masters on the Suburban Harley Davidson.
Hey, and listen.
Hello, how are you?
That's another name, man. Like it's no joke to race with Suburban Harley Davidson's logo on the side of your bike. Like that's a long history in racing there too, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited. This opportunity's popped up and I couldn't say no to it, and I'm finally over here, get to race some bikes and try to put the Australian up on the top of the box, hopefully, and go hard.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about your history, man, because just going through a lot of your pictures here in the pre-show, like you undoubtedly know how to move that motorcycle around. But tell everybody where you come from and what you do.
So I started racing motocross at a young age, literally dirt bikes pretty much my whole life, and I bought a Harley probably 3 years ago. Started stunt riding, and it's kind of taken me to where I am now here. But yeah, definitely dirt bikes is my background. Harleys have been like the last 3 years, and I've really blended with Harleys too. Like I've had some good times on them, and they've taken me some cool places, and now I'm here. So I'm very thankful.
Yeah, this, it never ceases to amaze me, man. Like you and I talked about this when you were just coming on in pre-show. This picture, the way some of you guys are able to throw these motorcycles around now.
Yeah. I don't know what it is in pounds because I'm in kilos, but like that's a 300 kilo bike.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in pounds, but yeah.
Yeah, it's no little motorcycle. That's 800 pounds? 800 pounds.
That's what it is, yeah.
Rob probably knows the actual. I'm not a stat guy.
660 pounds.
They started off quite heavy, and then with the use of the Sly Fox carbon fiber, with the alloy art subframes, alloy art forks and swing arms, they got them down into the mid to high fives right now. I mean, they've really got them. They've got them pretty spicy right now. How like, geez, oh man, what are you doing right there, taking a nap?
Well, and I can remember
an elbow drag.
I can remember when I first started interviewing some of these guys, and I was like, hey man, I said, aren't you ever worried about blowing the motor up because it's like how much time you spend vertical? And they actually
cavitate the oil, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You modify the oil pan and it picks it up the whole time. Otherwise, you definitely blow it up.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
So what made you want to actually race a 600-pound machine on a road track?
It looks pretty badass, to be honest.
Have you had any track time at all yet?
0 track time as of yet.
So you're just going to wait until you get to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to wait, go to a couple practice days before and wait till the gate drops then.
No, I kind of get the impression that you've already speed tested a couple of these big bikes, though.
On the streets, yes.
So,
but that's about it.
Right on. So, Rob, that was that's something to talk about here too. Like, I remember, and we've had you on several shows here, where we talked about from the beginning, you coming up with this idea, how many people didn't think this was going to work at all, and how the bikes have changed and the competition has gotten so fierce now. I mean, when you see the kind of stuff that's gone on these tracks, it's no joke. I mean, from that first one, you guys were only seconds off of what the fastest bikes on the track were doing.
The aftermarket industry is able to adapt and move so quickly. When Fueling comes out with the new cam chest, because they need more lift, they need more duration, or whatever the scenario. When somebody comes out with a lighter part, and then as these riders ride the bikes more, it's something that they're not even, I don't believe we're halfway to how good they're going to get. I think there's, in road racing, I believe I'm going to say there's 2 to 4 more seconds before they hit kind of a limit where they're not able to do much more development work. I think the weight's going to come down. The braking is going to increase exponentially. The suspension is getting better. They're getting so many more components that narrow up the primary drive and the transmission and the, Robbie Lane just came out with the cam cover. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Chris, but they're going to be able to move the pipes in to probably pick up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more degree of lean angles. So we're not done yet by any chance.
When we were at Nick Trask just a couple weeks ago, they showed us a CNC modeling they were doing, and it was that same thing. They had pulled in.
Are you giving away Nick's secrets?
Well, no. I mean, it's exactly what they're talking about. They pulled in parts of the bike so they could address that lean angle, because they've now gone that far that they need more room. Yeah, I mean, and nobody would have ever thought that. Nobody would have ever thought that with these bikes.
Well, I mean, here's what I knew was going to happen. When I saw what the bikes had, like I said before, had transitioned to big, tall, smaller wheels. They were carbon fiber, so they weren't even painting them anymore. The traditional things that made custom motorcycles custom, these were custom motorcycles that now had a whole new look and feel about them. And you weren't going to win the people over to them till you showed them why you did these things. And now with the suspension, with the wheels, with the tires and everything that you do to these things, people understand why you would do this and build these type of bikes. You can ride them. You can ride them against literally anybody. Your talent's going to be the determining factor. They're not your dad's bagger anymore.
No, not even close. Not even close. So when you said Jake was coming on today, I started doing a little bit of, poking around the internet.
Jake Masters 51, right?
Yeah. That and just the general internet. I think the hardest thing for Jake, based on everything I've seen, is actually going to be keeping a motorcycle on the ground. Because typically, that's not the case for him at all. Like,
they look better in the sky.
They do, and I have to I give you so many props because checking out your page,
wait a minute, what's that one? Is that naked Tarzan on a pit bike?
There's some funny stuff on there.
Hey, listen, everybody has goof riding picture or videos. Everybody has goof riding.
So he's got a killer Instagram page. I'm going to post a link.
So how long were you looking at his Instagram page today?
I actually didn't see that video, but thanks for showing me. However, I'm guessing he's younger than my son, so we can just move on from that.
Yeah, but check my man out. Check him out. Getting it.
And how old were you when you first got on a motorcycle?
I would say my parents said I was riding a bike around when I was 2, like a little quad, just mucking around with the electric one. And then I really started getting into it and racing when I was about 7.
You are a very lucky human that your parents got you into that at such a young age. You really are.
All the stuff you're looking at right now, that's my backyard. I got a track at home. So I was very, very thankful.
And how did you get mixed up with Rob Buydos?
You know what?
I'm international.
You know what, Heather?
Yeah,
eventually we
Everyone
all
knows
end
Rob.
up on Rob's porch. That's how.
Actually, it's a funny story. I mean, a couple years ago, Chris and Heather have actually been to the world's greatest pit bike race that no one in the world has ever seen.
What was it?
We were at NASCAR doing it. They came and filmed it. We had 8 people come over and watch us. And I had David Bradshaw, Jeff Stanton, and Ryan Villapoto, and Carson Brown. We had the greatest pit bike race in the world. No one's seen it. But we do have the footage of it. We're going to get it edited down. Jump ahead a little bit.
You had Kyle Petty and
everybody.
What was his name from the TV show?
Hottie McHotterson. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. His name's he got roosted in the motocross community when he came over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know.
Anyways, So we did this Pit Bike of Nations, and I met Jake, and we were talking, and I saw that he was doing a lot of street stunt. I'm like, you should come race, and you don't invite him because he's coming.
That's awesome.
You invite him, he's gonna definitely take you up on it.
So, hey, listen, we have, in case you haven't paid attention to the comment box over here, anybody that wants to ask any questions of Rob or Jake while we're talking, go ahead and throw those up. We do have one question, and it's just a plea for clarity. Let's see.
I'm not sure.
I think it was... Look, I lost it now.
So
There's so
while
many
he
comments
looks for that,
coming in.
Jake, I saw somewhere that you had a pretty major shoulder surgery. Was it a replacement?
Yeah, I had a shoulder reconstruction. There's a video on my Instagram of a friend of mine. He rolled a jump at one of my events, and I landed on him, and I lost 3 ligaments in my shoulder, popped my AC out.
And that wasn't terribly long ago.
Tell me where to go for the video.
1 year ago today, and you're
today.
riding like this and getting ready to race. That's incredible.
Well, yeah, if you keep scrolling. So...
Did you find his question yet?
Just right there in the middle.
This one?
I can't see. It's a crash video.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's that one there, yeah. This went viral. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. I was running an event at home, and there's one of my friends. He rolled a jump, and it was blind, and he didn't know I was behind him.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh.
Yeah, he broke his wrist, and I did my shoulder. Both got ambulance out of there.
Holy moly.
Yeah, full on.
And that was you had surgery a year ago.
Yeah, so I got surgery straight away and started physio pretty much instantly, and I had 12 weeks before I had to be in Sturgis to compete at the Ride Destroy Brawl on my Harley.
Wow.
So yeah, and I made it work. Like I put in a lot of effort and time to that, but it was worth it.
That's incredible.
So the question, I did find the question, and it was from James Fletcher, and he says, pikers. I've heard both. Why do people from Australia say pikers or pikeys?
I've never even heard that.
I've heard the term before, and it applies to people who roam up and down the turnpike.
I've never heard it
into
from
campgrounds
Australia,
and
though.
stuff.
That's an American thing.
I don't know. Clarify for us, and we'll re-ask the question.
So anyway, 1 year you're back racing. Like that just shows absolute dedication to your sport.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it just, I assume it's just something you don't ever see yourself not doing?
I will ride bikes the rest of my life. Definitely. It's something that'll happen. It's racing, riding. I love racing, but even just jumping on a bike and going for a ride is something I need to do. Otherwise, my mental state's not there.
Amen.
No, do you have a preference? Like, if you had to choose, like, street bike or stunting or motocross?
That's a hard question because I love it all. Motocross is definitely where my heart was, and it's like I always go back and ride, and I love it. But the Harley stuff's really taken off, and I love that too. So it's kind of hard. It's something I grew up doing, and it's something that's new to me. So riding Harleys is still new to me. So I can go ride it every day, and it's different. When if you ask me to go do a 20-minute moto on my dirt bike, I'll probably rather go ride my Harley.
Right on.
So did you when you were younger, did you ride 2-stroke and transition to 4-stroke?
Yeah. Started on 2-stroke until I was about 15, and then I went back to a 250 4-stroke. Do you still miss
2-stroke? Like a lot of us, for me, as awesome as it is to come up, under power to a double and just know that you're going to be able to roll that on, there's still nothing like, the desperation of having to jump in the pipe and try to make it. Like, do you miss that as a racer?
I don't know. I love 4-strokes, and I don't like mixing fuel anymore. But I definitely, if someone gives me a 2-stroke and hands it to me, I do love riding them. But nothing better than getting on a 450 and knowing I can hit every jump in second and third gear.
Right.
Based on his age, though, he probably spent way more time on the 4-stroke.
Don't go to the old thing right away, Heather.
I'm not saying you're
let's
old,
wait
I'm
till the
saying
end of
he's
the
young.
program.
That's
So
what
couple
he's saying.
questions. Chris No wants to know.
I got one that we could share here too.
Okay.
This is pretty unique. One of the hardest things to do in any type of racing is find support. So not only did Suburban Harley and Slide Fox and everybody step up, but then Jake went and got a sponsor for himself, and they're international as well. He went from the South Pacific all the way to north of the border of America.
No kidding.
Who you got?
Stinger Trailers. They're done helped me massive, and they've jumped on board to help us out this year. So it's going to be awesome. We've got a really good crew together.
Chris, you need to pull them up because I think
what's the name?
Stinger Trailers.
Stinger Trailers.
If you haven't seen their trailers, you're missing out.
Oh,
You need
nice.
one. And if you have an economy car, no worries.
Oh yeah.
You can drive a Toyota Corolla with that thing on the back and fold it up into your shed or garage, whatever you call it.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it folds up.
Let me put the link up for everybody.
Oh yeah,
you
my
already
sister
did.
needs this.
Did you already do that?
Yes.
Jeez,
Of course
Heather.
I did.
You're so
okay,
good.
we have a question from Tony Tello. He's out of the Boston area in Massachusetts. What is your favorite bike to stunt with?
O2 Dyna Lowrider.
Right on. And for Rob, we have the question, is it still mandatory stock Harley Flexi frame?
Is it stock Harley Flexi? Do you think Harley Davidson frames are Flexi? Huh. Yes. Then yes, it is. I mean, these things aren't 1978 KZ 900s that when you put the brakes on, I don't see them flexing all that much. They're flicking them through corners. They're stable on the high banks of Daytona where we've been.
No, if anything, and I don't mean to split hairs here, but if you were going to say between the two companies, Harley or Indian, the Indian frame is the one that flexes way more.
Seems like it's a little, but they're both fine. And listen, the stock frame on these, they're fine. The frame is good. If you ever get into aftermarket frames on these bikes, the cost that's already pretty heavy will be exponential. It'll jump up into the heavy six figures when you get an aftermarket frame. So we'll never see that. If we do, the sports come to an end.
So the new question from Lance Baxter, were your parents, and I'm assuming this for Jake, were your parents watching you when you were learning to ride like you do?
Yeah, my parents are awesome. They've supported me the whole time through everything. They still do. My dad's crazy like me, so he always made me do things I didn't want to do when I was younger, but kind of made me who I am now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure you've given your mother her fair share of heart attacks.
Yeah, I still give them to her. She still tells me to slow down and take things a bit easier because she knows what I'm like. I rush everything, so.
Oh, I think it's awesome.
Hey, James Fletcher says
you're taking up too much space.
James Fletcher says Stingers are in the U.S. I have two friends who have them. So
Nice.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Now, have you relocated to the U.S. or are you just kind of going back and forth for a little bit?
I'm back and forth a little bit until I work out my visa stuff. I'm currently in San Diego right now. I've been here a couple months. After the first round of BRL, I've got to fly home for a couple weeks, and then I'll be back to get into the rest of them.
Nice. That's awesome.
now, Rob, while we're looking at some BRL pictures here, let's get everybody up to date. Because you guys came out with this. There was 6 or 8 bikes that actually raced the first race, and since then, what's become a BRL as far as classes, the experience, the accessibility, what you're doing starting off with Pittsburgh this year.
We have a race school that kicks off on Friday. Actually, Jake will be enrolled and participating in that. Once you complete the school and have a license, you have 6 classes to choose from. The Icon Lightweight Twins, now listen to the sponsors that we've lined up. The Andrews Cams Big Twins, the Zippers, American Twins Unlimited, which is like a filling class of Run What You Brung, the NAMS Bagger GP, Metzler Pro Stock, and our newest sponsor, the DP Brakes FS Cup, which is for liquid cooled Harleys and Indians, the FTRs. And everyone's excited about the Pan American. So that's in the DP Brakes FS Cup. So we have 6 classes to choose from. Anything from, if you show up with a 65 electric glide, you're in pro stock bagger. I mean, we have a class for literally everything.
That's
Show
awesome.
up on a pea shooter, you're in lightweight twins, you know?
That picture right there is why Trask is trying to figure out how to get more clearance.
Well, you know, Nick Trask, 2-time champion now. He takes the turbos, and he's going to be fielding a 2-man bagger GP team. He has Gunner the Cougar Killer out there, and then he has the 2-time champ Shane Narbonne. So Nick Trask doesn't do anything half-assed, you know that.
That's no kidding.
And then I understand today that Fueling signed a new rider. I'll let them break that news, but they'll have a brand new rider that's going to fill in for Ben Bostrom. Obviously, Alloy Arts back in full force. I know the guys at Lloyd's Garage Indian have been doing a lot of homework this year. Suburban Harley Davidson is fielding the biggest team. They'll have the Pro Stock champ, Arnie Wells. They'll have Benny Carlson. They're going to have Carson Brown, who has a lot of big news coming out. They're going to have, obviously, Jake Masters. They're going to have Cody Gilmore, who basically came out of nowhere and was undefeated all the way through. He had 1 crash at the Milwaukee Mile. That's the only race he didn't win. And that's Jake's teammate.
Right on. We definitely want to give Suburban Harley a shout out too.
They do fantastic work, Joe, and they're locked into the dyno. We got something else coming up too, and I want to make sure we get it in. That I'm real pumped at this. We talked about the moto at the mall. We had a great little bike show that no charge, come hang out. It was our first attempt at it, and I think moving forward, we'll be able to do really something special with it. I want to thank Lowbrow, Noble Moto. You guys, obviously, the Smoke Out came out and everyone was interested in that. Bagger Racing League was there. Johnny K's Indian rolled out the red carpet at the Midway Mall. Go see him if you never have a chance. Is that the biggest showroom you've ever been in, Chris?
What's that?
Is that the biggest showroom you've ever been in?
Dude, that was so, Heather, I didn't even get to tell you about this. We show up at this thing and they literally, if you can imagine the mall that we have up the road here,
Yeah.
this Indian dealership, Johnny K's he's talking about, bought the entire mall.
Okay.
And then it's got to be half of it they've made into a motorcycle or motorsports mall, and the other half of it there's still like some mall businesses and mall traffic. You could absolutely do mini bike races inside this joint.
Sorry.
You could do full size motorcycle racing there.
I see an event in our future. So, Rob, I know you have a bunch of stuff, cool stuff going on at the Pittsburgh Races. Do you want to give a little rundown of what somebody's weekend's going to look like when they attend?
If they want to come in early, the Wednesday night of the 3rd, we meet Jake Masters. We're able to meet some of the riders. We'll see the bikes at Newcastle Harley Davidson, 4 to 8. It'll be a kickoff. We'll have radio DJs, so there'll be interviews going on, all that great stuff. Then move in this Thursday. Friday at the track, we'll be going hot and having practice, and in the end of the day, qualifying. Then on Saturday, this is what I'm excited about. Hardcore Cycles and Cycle Source Magazine. Do you guys have a drum roll or anything there? Because this is big. Hardcore Cycles and Cycle Source. We're going to have a chopper show and a performance bike show. You get into the race, you're going to have an opportunity to showcase your product. 11 to 4 on Saturday. We have some singers from a singer, and I'm going to mess her name up, and I'm going to be bummed I'm going to mess her name up. She's from American Idol, and she's from the area.
Gabby Barrett?
What's her name?
Gabby. I'm guessing Gabby Barrett.
I don't know. It's something like that. But she's going to be doing the national anthem and ride around and things like that. She's right from the area. And then she'll be joining us. So we'll have some music. We're going to have this bike show. And Chris and and John O'Brien, I think, are going to do. I'm really pumped about that.
Yeah, you know, it's been quite a while since we've actually had a show, a hometown show. And for John is the other side of Pennsylvania, and him, you know, with everything he's been doing with Daytona and with Sturgis, him having a show here too, and it being around the racetrack, it's going to be pretty dope.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend.
On Friday and Saturday night, I guess one of the coolest things the track does, if you get in, is they have this sunset track walk. And I guess the sunset makes you think you're out in Utah and Tooele. It's so beautiful out there with the mountain and the sunrise and sunset a little. So they do that on Friday. And then the fan lap, the appreciation lap. If you have a helmet, Saturday and Sunday at lunch, we'll let you take a lap around behind the pace car.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, can we bring
fan lap.
See, and this is something I've been talking to you about, that like I'm not sure, with your whole program, like how accessible this is for somebody who wants to give us a shot. You know what I mean? Like even more than the fan lap and everything else. You can literally show up at this track, do the school, get licensed and have a shot at these races.
If you want to sign up, you go to Evolved GT. And then that's the race school. That's where you'd sign up through Evolve GT. You'd go there, you'd sign up for the race school. And they told us, if you do the written part prior to the event, that's what happens when the black flag comes out. What's this flag mean? And it tells you there's a...
Is this it here, dude?
Evolve GT, yep.
Okay, I'm gonna post that link for everybody.
And then they can sign up for the school. When they're done with the school, and here's what the school consists of. They give you some scenarios. A rider goes down. What do you do? How do you exit the track? If, track's still hot, you do a movement with your leg to let the riders behind you know what's coming up. It's all just getting all your etiquette dialed in. And if you don't fall down, you pass. Now, if you're super slow and you ride around the back of the pack, that's your own fault. But so for Jake, if he signs up and does the online part, when he comes there, he'll just ride. They'll evaluate him that, he was able to handle himself properly on the track. And by mid-afternoon, he's going to be in a practice session on a track he's already been on. And then he goes to qualifying and he's riding for his grid pick.
Wow.
Line him up 3 across every row. And yeah, he's going, you go then you wake up the next morning. You have a warm-up session, and you're on the line for your first race ever in Bagger Racing League.
So I wanted to see real quick if I could bring up anything from the Pittsburgh track just to show people how. And here is a flyover video of this track, and man, it is so much fun. We've done so many different track days and shit on this track. It's a blast.
Well, look how beautiful it is. It's picturesque. It's Western PA at its finest.
Yep. And it's going to be perfect. The weather
It's
is
about
just
20
breaking.
minutes from East Palestine, so we could help that community out if we stopped down there.
Is it weird that I'm slightly bummed that you don't have a bike that you could run? I'm just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Don't push it, because Rob keeps mentioning that.
I just can't believe that you guys haven't had somebody that goes, we want a Cycle Source to build us a bike and take it to the track and do a big bio on it,
No, dude, and we definitely do, but like we've been doing Sons of Speed racing, and like I gotta.
And he's getting faster. Although, do you know what your fastest bike has been so far?
Surprisingly, and I want to say, oh, it's a bagger, and it may well have been at top speed, but those Pan Americans are so nimble.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to beat, and talk about ground clearance and everything like that. So, but the fastest bike that we've had on top speed for sure is the Trask Turbo.
And do you know what that's hit, like in the 180 range?
181 miles an hour, yeah. 180.
Wow. We have a guy that wants to run his VTX.
His Honda VTX?
Yeah.
He's more than welcome to. They have
there
classes
you go, David.
Every single road racing series. And they have for 65 years. The Harley and Indians have never been really welcome to the track until just recently. So when we built the classes and the series around them, it was so that they had a place to be showcased where Ducati, Uzi, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, they've all had a place to showcase. So, it's been pretty easy for that. And they have these classes in a lot of the series. Azra, I think it's called like Thunderbike, which is pure V twin.
Now listen, there's
Yamahas, and they have a class for VTXs, and they have had for many, many years. I believe it's called Thunderbike in Azra.
Yep. So, as this video is playing, this is what I love about this track. There's no real radical elevation changes. I mean, there's some slow slopes and stuff, but it's a fast track, man. It's a really fast track, nice and wide
and safe.
Yeah,
you know, you see all the runoff, you see all the air fence, you see it's a world-class facility, and that's what a lot of people are super excited about, is that it's truly one of the premier tracks in the United States.
David McKinley said it would be a cool track if it was a little more spectator friendly. So I don't know what that.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure.
I mean, road racing as a whole is a little bit of a challenge to watch. It's
Right.
a couple miles around. It's not like a flat track or a TT or Supercross where you sit in, the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey last night and sit in a seat and watch a race. This is a little bit more nuance driven. You have to go find a spot. And what Pitt has is a real nice high elevation spot where you can watch probably 4 or 5 of the corners.
Yeah.
And you have a fence, and they disappear for a moment, but as the guy closes and not, and you wait, and then boom, they roar back in front of you. So that is, I definitely wish it was giant grandstands and things, but then it wouldn't be road racing.
It kind
That's all
of
part
has
of
to
it.
be like that. Yeah, it is part of it.
Yeah. Jake, what are you most looking forward to for your first race?
I'm just looking forward to get out there. It looks so much fun, and all the boys that I've talked to about it said it's such a good event, and getting out there and racing is an awesome feeling, and I love racing. So what I'm most excited to do is cut some laps down on a road racing track, because I've never done it before.
Let's go. We're going to be there to cover it. You guys should all make plans. If you're within a couple 100 miles of this should be a no-brainer.
It's worth a weekend trip.
May 6th through the 7th. The pre-party at Newcastle Harley. We'll be putting stuff up on our social media, but make plans. And if you think you're fast, get in touch with Rob and the guys over at BRL. You got a place to come and prove it here in Pittsburgh when they get down.
Throw the link.
That's kind of the funny thing is, Jake is obviously seasoned it by the horns. He's getting out to compete. We have some guys joining us from Canada that are coming down in a big way. They came to Milwaukee last year. They got bitten so hard with the bug, they built a bagger to come back. There's a whole new group of guys from the Buffalo area that are coming down, and these dealerships and these organizations that are within that 80, 90, 100 miles get together and ride in. Here's what happens. We're in Western Pennsylvania, North Ohio, West Virginia, a little bit of Western New York, some Indiana, even Kentucky, and the Columbus, Ohio, and Cincinnati. Hey, what are you doing today? Oh, I don't know. There's nothing to do. This is something to do.
Yeah,
Don't
buddy.
not do it. And then in a couple of years go, I wonder why they didn't come back here. Come out and do it.
Okay.
Come out and check it out. You owe it to yourself to see one of these things live, to hear the machines come down.
Yeah,
to
buddy.
feel the air move. You owe it to yourself once.
Okay, hang on. Booyah! This just in from Radar. Wait, I got to put Heather up on screen too so everybody can see her
I
face.
saw it.
Chris, my bike is slightly modified, 117 horsepower and 131 foot-pounds of torque. We can try this if Heather says you can ride it. So
I've upped his life insurance. It's fine. It's fine. I
Are
can't
we
say no.
breaking news here?
what? Hey,
No,
if
we'll
Radar
see.
brings that bike up here, I'll ride that son of a
Breaking
bitch.
news?
So no, it's super cool. Like, it's $50 for the weekend to go watch this race for everything that they have going on. It's probably the best way to spend $50 for a weekend.
Yep.
It's 20
that I
bucks
can
a
think
day.
of. Yeah.
And the 3-day pass is 50. And there's camping, primitive, but really nice little campground. That's $75 for the weekend.
David Crum said he's in on the VTX, so it looks like we're starting to fill out the field here. Pretty good. All right, fellas, listen, thanks for coming on. Jake, good luck to you. We can't wait to see you race. Rob, as always, absolute pleasure to have you with us, my man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming this weekend. The moto at the mall was a great experience, I think, for a first-time event, and having you there just put the cherry on top.
Right on, buddy. Well, listen, we'll be
Can't wait
talking to you
see
soon.
at these events. Heather, you too.
I'm
Yes,
super,
sir.
and my mother. We're bringing
your mom.
Miss Judy with us for
Yep.
at least one day, I think. But I'm super excited to come. I've been wanting to do this, so.
Yeah, come on. Let's see your show bikes, Pittsburgh. We're going to be out at the races for the
That's
weekend.
right.
Come out and let's do a bike show and let's support the idea of having this world-class event right in our backyard.
With international superstars.
Yes, sir.
I told Jake I was going to make him internationally famous.
I think he already is.
Yeah,
This is step number one. So how do we follow Bagger Racing League and Jake Masters?
Like I just want to go to make sure, like, to see if he can actually keep the bike completely on the ground. That
I'm gonna
will
do
be
my
amazing.
best.
That's not cool to say at a road
No,
race,
I mean,
Heather.
instead of not doing wheelies or things like that. I don't
No, the
mean
celebration
that.
wheelies.
Hey, celebration Willie. If
Right.
he wins a heat or something, you can guarantee.
I'll definitely be
he'll-
doing a wheelie if I
Say
win.
when. Say when he wins a heat.
Just say when.
Just say
Say
when.
when. All right, guys. Listen, thanks again. Thanks for coming on, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, hey everybody, you're watching Shop Talk here on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Got some more stuff to deal with tonight, and that's going to start off with a little look at a bike. Mr. Yaffe has made this beautiful motorcycle, and one of you guys has a chance to
Hey,
win
I
it.
think we can actually win this one.
When we get through looking at this bike, we're going to go with new product from S&S. On the other side, we got more Shop Talk for you. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody, Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears TV. We're here at Arizona Bike Week, and this is it, baby. This is the 1993 FXLR that Paul Yaffe has completely and painstakingly manicured and restored for one lucky winner for the Dennis Kirk giveaway. This incredible motorcycle, I would roll this thing straight into my garage right now today. I wouldn't care how many of you are upset, but I'm not eligible. You are. You can get to DennisKirk.com today and check out the way that you get in on this.
Welcome to the S&S Product Spotlight.
The Product Spotlight is brought to you by Drag Specialties, the world's largest distributor of aftermarket accessories.
What do we got today, John?
We have our 132 big bore kit
So that's 132 cubic inches.
of direct bolt-on cubic inches.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
This is for M8s?
This is for your M8. This is going to be, the 132 kit's going to be for your 114.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's
So
a little
that's
different stroke.
4.5 inch stroke,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is soft tail and touring?
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
And what kind of power are we making with this?
Like 140-ish, roughly?
Easy.
Yeah.
So on our dynos, we're doing 140 and change with a stock throttle body, stock heads.
Correct.
So there's more in there, but that's up to you to find it.
Exactly.
All right, what else is cool about this?
Well, so besides the fact of being directly bolt-on, it does come in factory colors. I want to bring out the, matches the factory color and the highlighted. We also offer it in our granite.
Oh, CVO guys.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
The kit does include these massive pistons.
That's a Wiseco piston?
Yes, it is.
Flat top?
Flat top, Wiseco
Very cool.
piston, piston rings. You got your gaskets, and to top it off, you want to advertise.
This is your favorite part, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at it. You got to advertise. You got to.
What's your compression ratio?
11-1.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So happy on pump gas, but still making good power with a cam?
Yeah, and talking about cams, this thing pairs very nicely with your
Pairs. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, like a fine Chianti.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a
I like it.
it's like a delicacy.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And
so it
what's
pairs very
your-
nicely with a 540 or 550 cam.
Oh, so a 540 with this combo on a touring bike would be a good torque cam?
Yeah, for your two upriders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
plenty of power with
Yeah.
plenty of torque and bottom end.
Exactly.
And a 550, that's a kind of a more broad spectrum.
It's kind of somebody like me that likes to, get on it a little
Okay.
bit more. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, John, why'd you put the cylinders on the table upside down?
Fantastic question, David.
Fantastic, thank you.
Fantastic.
So why are they
yes.
upside down?
Notice that the spigot right here is facing up.
Mhm.
Now,
They're upside
people have a tendency to set them down really hard. And when you set them down really hard, that spigot or ring up here will start to bow.
Because that's really thin, isn't it?
Yeah, so let's show.
Oh, there you go.
Look at
Okay.
that. Yeah. What happens when it bends, David?
Ooh, it's not round anymore.
That's right.
Round is super important for this?
Because of why? Because this
round,
is round.
round.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the answer.
No problem.
It's good stuff.
Uh-huh.
For more information about the product, check out sscycle.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, Jason here from Deadwood Custom Cycles, and me and my guys would like to invite you to the Black Hills Motorcycle Show, May 27th, 2023, right here in Deadwood. Okay, the Black Hills Motorcycle Show is on Memorial Day weekend, 2023, at the Deadwood Mountain Grand. We're going to have celebrity builder Paul Yaffe here, performance by the Dirty Sexy Riot Girls, live music from Victory Underground, and a $1,000 grand prize for Best in Show. So grab your bike, bring it up, enter it. You never know what could happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can go to blackhillsmotorcycleshow.com for more information. And the show is brought to you by Deadwood Mountain Grand, Bagger Nation, Paul Yaffe Originals, Law Tigers, Fueling, Vision X, NAMS, and of course, Deadwood Custom Cycles.
I'm Brian Clock from Clockworks in Mitchell, South Dakota, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Bikers Info USA, the first bikers app by bikers, for bikers, and it's free. National and state events, Sturgis and Daytona, Bikers Info USA. Every motorcycle manufacturer dealer listed. Biker products for you and your bike. Bikers Info USA. Find the places to go, places to party, places to stay at every event. Bikers Info USA. Download it now. It's free. Bikers Info USA.
Bikers Info USA.
So can I just say, I want John and David to do all our product spotlights from now on. Like, they're the best. They were so much fun to work with that day. It was awesome.
Radar, you're terrible. Chris, seriously, please ride my bike or help me get to ride. I really want my name on a wall or a highway named after me in post-mortem.
Well, I mean, I have a Sharpie. I can write your name anywhere if you want.
You are not helping the cause here, man. We're trying to get Heather on board with the idea. So, hey, it's come to that part of the show where we want to give you guys a little bit of updates on the events pages here at Cycle Source Magazine.
We haven't done events in a while.
I know, and there's nothing more fun than taking your motorcycle and doing something for the weekend. What were you going to say? Don't even what?
I was going to say, Bikers Info USA.
The Shop Talk events calendar is brought to you by the Bikers Info app, the Everything Bikers app, all in one place, everything you need, and it's free.
I love your radio voice. I'm just saying. Can you just talk like that all the time?
I can. It's almost time for me to say good night, Annie.
Oh. Do you know she sends me pictures of the bear?
Aw.
So anyway, all right. First up, everybody knows this as the Ole swap meet, but actually, and this was why it was hard for me to find, it's the Perky Omen National Meet.
Perky Omen?
Yeah, that's what Ole actually is called.
Really?
Yes. Like I said, it was hard for me to find because I'm like typing in Ole.
The Pokemon swap meet.
Pokemon. So next week on April 28th and 29th in Ole, Pennsylvania. It's a pretty badass swap meet if you're into the
It's
old
really
stuff.
cool. Did you see that JD that Rob Nussbaum is taking there?
No.
Pretty cool.
You can't have it.
You got to pay attention.
No. The One Motorcycle Show, April 28th through 30th. That is in beautiful Portland, Oregon. You can go to theonemoto.com to get more information on that. Sunday, May 7th, Hogs for Hope. This is hosted by our good friend and amazing photographer, Matt Stewart Ken. He and the Yonkers Fire Department do a lot of great work for the Ronald McDonald House. So go support that if you're out there. They're actually doing an antique bike show that I think we're sponsoring and supplying the trophies for. The Devil's Carnival, Backroad
Devil's Carnival.
Backroad Barbecue Run 6, May 12th through 14th at the Trent River Campground. Go to backroadbarbecuerun.com. Go ahead, you have to sing it.
Born Free.
June 24th through 25th of 2023. BornFreeMotorcycleShow.com. You can get more information there. That's about all I know.
Black Hills Motorcycle Show.
There you go.
We just heard
Memorial
Jason talk
Day
all about
weekend,
that.
Deadwood Mountain Grand. Chris is going to be there.
Yes, I will be there.
Yeah, I won't. How come I keep getting screwed out of the good
Hey,
stuff?
you shut your mouth. You'll be on a plane so fast your head will spin.
Mm-hmm. Thunder in the Valley, 25th anniversary. That is in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Pretty decent lineup of music there. Go check them out. Thunderinthevalley.com.
The Iowa Hog Drags.
Yes.
That's our boys out there, buddy.
Yep, that is June 30th, July 1st, and 2nd in Humboldt, Iowa. Worcester.
Worcester's having a bike week?
It's actually a day.
Well, it
It's a
says
bike-
week.
I know, but it's actually a day. I don't. Yeah.
That's your people up there.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Worcester.
No, it's Worcester.
Worcester.
July 8th, 11 to 6 at Ralph's Diner, which is a pretty iconic location in the Worcester area.
This looks like a good time. Like, not to be tongue-in-cheek, but seriously, this looks like a good time.
Yeah, are we going to go?
I'd
Are we
really
gonna
like
try to go? I think we might be able to go.
We should go on our way somewhere.
It's not on the way to anywhere for us. Sorry. Labor Day weekend, August 31st through September 4th. Four Corners Motorcycle Rally, Durango.
Okay, wait a minute.
What?
Let's just...
Well, wait a minute.
Wait,
Did you
no,
see this?
let's wait a minute.
Okay,
Radar, BMR Revival.
It is not
There is
the BMR
no such thing
Revival.
as a BMR Revival. So
No.
we're going to bring BMR back someday. This ain't it.
Yeah.
Anybody that's claiming that they're doing Big Mountain Run,
It is
they don't
not-
have the rights to.
No.
So call it something else.
Yeah.
Go into your little trick bag and come up with something
In
creative.
no way, shape, or form does it have anything to do with BMR.
Yeah,
It is
not-
not. It is
not
not an
BMR.
affiliate event.
No.
It is not Friends of BMR.
It wasn't put on by friends of BMR.
Yeah,
It's no
so-
shit like that. It's actually a little disrespectful.
Yeah. So no, we're not going. Save the choppers, Tom Rad. Yes, absolutely. Choppers rule. September 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Smoke out. The original Chopper Party. So excited. Things are starting to come together. I'm going to announce the first two bands that I have ready to announce pretty quickly here, and they don't suck.
The Grundle Run.
September 15th through 17th. You know, September used to be a month where nothing happened, and now everything cool is happening in September.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, so I put this up here. This is not this week's update, so I put this update up here so I could give you guys a little update on some of the Tankful tanks. This is a tank that's being done by BLA Artisans. This tank is going to be 100% covered in crystals, all hand-laid, and that will be going up for auction at Smokeout. All the proceeds will go to Meals on Wheels. We have a slew of artists who are donating their time and talent for that. And as I get pictures in, I will update people, but please stay tuned. Last year, we were able to donate $15,000 to the cause on behalf of Smokeout Rally and Hamsters USA, and I'm hoping to top that this year.
All right, so Radar, first of all, I didn't take any disrespect from you. It's just we went back and forth on this with the guys that are doing that and tried to make clear that, you know, Cycle Source Magazine still has the rights of BMR because it was like our flagship event. And even though we're, you know, so proud to take over Smokeout, someday we're going to bring BMR back. And the reason we called it Big Mountain Run was so that we had the ability to move it from mountain to mountain.
Yes.
It started down in the Smoky Mountains. It moved up to the Allegheny Mountain Range. I think that still is.
In perfect storm, Big Mountain Run will end up at Smokeout. Maybe.
Yep.
That would be the
So
perfect storm.
this is the part of the show where we want to hear from you guys. Who has a topic? Who has a topic for us to talk
Oh,
about?
I have so many.
Well, you're
No, I'm
not.
just kidding. No, not me.
Well, what do you mean I have so many?
I can always run my mouth about something.
Oh, man.
We want to know what
Questions,
comments do you have? You got
comments,
questions? Yeah.
concerns, Save the planet.
So
Anybody, anything. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you start?
right now,
Crickets. Tell them what computer you used for the very first issue and where you got it.
it was a computer we borrowed from a stripper.
Did you know how to use it?
What does success mean to you guys, or being successful?
Oh.
That's a great question. So, for me, success is when I started into all of this stuff. Motorcycle people saved my life. I say this all the time. You guys probably get tired of hearing it. But hanging around with motorcycle people, I learned respect and values, and, you know, I picked up responsibility. And in short, I learned to be a man. And everything that I've loved about life has always been around motorcycle people. So the fact that I have now for 26 years got to make my life telling the stories of those people and celebrating the culture, that's success. There's been money at some times. There's been a complete lack of it at others. It's the hardest I've ever worked in my life, and still, this is my definition of success.
Good answer. Big D, are there any rules for the dirt drags at Smokeout? There's one rule: don't die.
Well, we do have classes though. Last year
you actually got official classes?
Well, last year we had, because we saw what showed up, and we did street, modified, and vintage.
Okay.
Based on reviewing the tapes, I think we're going to have like an up to 1200 cc. Like we'll have a street up to 1200 cc, a modified just open, and vintage. Like I think we have to separate the
like the classes are one thing, but rules, like it's just really don't die, right?
I mean, that's the big rule. Yeah. And this year you got to wear a helmet and boots.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Like we got to.
But you can absolutely run what you brung.
Yep.
You'll sign a waiver, which means
almost
if you
dog
crash,
shit.
It's your fault.
Raise Motor Life, Source Media Group. Okay, I think my success is determining on my goals being completed and friendships, but I agree with your answer too. And that is good.
Let's see, Chris, have you seen the e-bikes race the MotoGP?
I haven't.
No.
I haven't. Radar said that Smokeout was his first invitation to show his love of bikes. The best part was you playing really get to everyone.
Reveille to get everyone out of the rental house. I don't think people would like it if we did that at Smokeout. Although, could we do like
Bill Stevens foot clutch class?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because they're and I mean, does that fall into vintage, or should we separate it?
Oh, good question.
We'll see how many. I'll tell you what, we're almost complete with the revamp of the Smokeout website. Maybe we'll get a special section on there, and we'll let some of you guys, not really sign up, but tell us what you're bringing for the dirt drags, and we'll start. If we have a field, if there's a special foot clutch class, if there, we'll make the classes depend on what you guys are bringing.
Could we wake everybody up with like the Bill Murray skit?
Attention campers, it's now 9:30. Smokeout is open.
What, Big D? I can't even say that.
Why? Anus Racing. You don't know what that is? American National Unicycle Series. So if you don't know what Anus Racing is, no, listen, it was really cool. These guys used to take a motorcycle, and they would take the front wheel off, and they would put a skid plate on it. And the handlebars would still be there. And when the green light went down, they got on the throttle and raced the whole way down the dirt track on one wheel. So it was a real thing. That's legit.
Street tire versus dirt tire.
Let me see.
Weren't you gonna do?
I think. Oh my God! I have a video for Anus Racing. Wait a minute, that's not it.
That's not it. That ain't it, kid. That ain't it.
No, here it is.
Okay, so tell me.
While others crash into hay bales, steering and brakes are optional, or just flip end over end.
I'm stealing this from Born to Ride. No, it's a motorcycle. They're motorcycles.
Just proves that bigger doesn't mean faster.
Some of the beasts were decorated to reflect their names, and a few sported the names of local sponsors. Most, however, were unadorned conglomerates of sheet metal, junkyard items, and aging power plants welded together in an apparently haphazard fashion. Other than the 10 Commandments
Dude, I would
of
love to do
ANUS,
Anus Racing.
there are no rules governing how the machines are
something
constructed.
else?
No.
Nor is there much interest among serious competitors
That's part of the
in
charm.
sponsorship or aesthetics.
Welcome to the show. We're at one of the hottest, most craziest events here Daytona Bike Week has ever offered, and you got to stick around and watch it. This is the Anus Una Motorcycle Racing. This is Sidecar Willie and Tiny, and then with me on this side is Swamp. How you doing today, Sidecar?
Most excellent, Dad. We're just having a ball today. This is
Look,
the
he wants to
hottest
take that
new
mic so
sport
bad.
of the decade. Unimotorcycle racing is now going international. And I'm here today to try to get the unlimited record from this gentleman right here. He is the baddest, unlimited, undefeated record
Come on,
holder
Willie,
that
talk
the
some
sport
shit.
has ever
Talk
seen.
some shit.
And I'm going to give it.
So listen, I want to say a real quick thank you to Born to Ride TV for letting us steal that clip for a minute there. You should check them out. They do some cool stuff too. So
That's crazy. Do you think people would actually do it?
Oh, dude, in Daytona that goes on.
That still happens.
I don't know if it's
because
still
that looked
is or
like a
not.
pretty old video.
Look, Radar Sidecar. Holy shit, is he still alive?
It looked like a kind of old video. I'm just saying.
Heather, please go to Alcovets to sponsor a balloon for Smokeout.
Oh, I think that was actually no. That was actually yeah. Yes. I'll pass that along to the person that was inquiring.
Yep. All right, man. Well,
I think
we gave you guys some time. Remember, we're gonna end the show every week with this little segment where we just shoot the shit with you. So, bring some better questions next week.
Yeah, be prepared. Come on, goddammit.
Do your part, guys.
Do your part.
We put the rest of this show together.
Jeez, we have to do everything.
Forget you. You can't come then. All right, man. Listen,
I
thank
want to
you.
know who went and watched Shovel King last week. Oh, anyway.
Thank you
okay.
guys for letting us into your headspace and sharing some time with us. Next week we'll be back Sundays 9 p.m. all the time here on the East Coast with another 90 to 120 minutes of all the two-wheel bullshit we can fit. Until then, go out in the garage, do something with your motorcycle. Christ, maybe even get a ride in.
Oh my God, that's a good idea, Ray.
Open mic night. Have 2 or 3 of your guests come on. There we go. Till next
You have
week.
to know how to use Zoom.
Till next week. Chris, how much does your hammer weigh? My hammer?
I feel like there's some very inappropriate things going on tonight. Okay, that's it.
That's it. We'll let you guys go until next week when we come back. Same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Mark's not here.
We got to do it for him, though.
Bye, Felicia. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and we hope you pay them a visit when you're in the market for great motorcycle parts, products, and events. S&S Cycle, Makuni American, Baco Parts, The Broken Spoke Saloon, Twisted Tea, The Iron Horse Saloon, High Seas Rally, Twisted Choppers, Twin Power, Drag Specialties, Geico, Law Tigers, Tech Cycle, Fueling Parts, Lone Star Rally, Hijinks Apparel, Progressive Insurance, Spectra Oil, No School Choppers, Motion Pro Tool.